Before we start the video, I want to throw a big thank you out to for supporting this video. They are always a big help in the community, and they're always willing to help out where they can, when they can, and so just real big thank you to. And for those of you in the community watching this, also be sure to throw out a big thank you to for supporting the channel. Welcome back, everyone, to Lore with Ludus Infinium. Today we will cover the 5th Legion, the White Scars. As a quick reminder, I like to mention the Primarchs as little as possible to save that for their own videos. So, let's get into it. The tale of the White Scars is actually a fairly consistent. Before they took on their more common name, back when they were still referred to as the 5th Legion or Star Hunters, they were used as scouts and pathfinders. Their combat role at the time was to go forward in small groups and test the defenses of enemies or see how well prepared they were and report back to whichever legion was following them to kind of tip off the legion to weak points, as it were. When they weren't probing enemy defenses, they would be out past the bounds of Imperial space, scouting new planets to attempt to bring into the Imperium, to go where no space marine has gone before. Anyway, now you may have noticed my friend at the top of the screen. This is what happens to the White Scars. They forget how to stop. One quick thing, I do want to mention something. I do want to mention the Primarch at least once. The Almighty Jagatai Khan. He took the 5th Legion and brought them all together, and they didn't even see each other as brothers. They saw each other as strangers, realistically, because they were always sent out in small groups. So he brought them all to Chagoris and bonded them to where they saw each other as brothers, and also passed on the Chagorian teachings. And that's really what made the White Scars become even more useful and powerful in addition to what they already were. So, before we go into their actual tactics, I kind of want to talk about two very important battles in the White Scars history. The first one being the Emancipation of Droon, where they were paired up with the 16th Legion, or the Luna Wolves, and the 14th Legion, or the Death Guard. Now, also, all 3 Primarchs of those legions were there. So it was Jagatai Khan, it was Horus Lupercal, and it was Mortarion. Now, Mortarion has always had a, what's the word here? A hate-hate relationship with Psychers. He hated them a lot. A lot. Just a lot. Absolutely despised them. So, the White Scars version of Psychers, or Stormseers, warned Horus and the other Primarchs that going in the city was essentially a bad idea. That the best course of action would just be to kill everything indiscriminately. Mortarion kind of just like brushed it off like, no, we can do this. We are the best of the best. We are the Primarchs. Fuck what that Stormseer says. We are awesome. And they go a little further, and the Stormseer goes to Jagatai this time, says, Daddy, no, Daddy, no, scary one's not right, bad things happening. And this time, Jagatai himself went to Horus and like, he's freaking out, maybe this is a bad idea. And at this point, they looked up, and saw a vortex in the sky, and realized this was, in fact, a horrible idea. Now, interesting little thing here. They ended up fighting a demon, and it was fighting Horus and Mortarion on almost equal footing. In fact, it was gaining power on them. Jagatai, using the more common tactics of the White Scars, outmaneuvered it, got behind it, and murdered it. And saved both of his brothers. Because, awesome. I'm not gonna lie, the more research I've done into the White Scars, the more I'm starting to like them a lot. Now, the other battle I want to talk about is what's commonly called the Pale Emperor. So, essentially, what happened is they came across this this lord, and he did not want to bend the knee. And the interesting part is the way they fought was in tight formations in lockstep. Think American Revolutionary War redcoats. This is what I imagine, just in much heavier armor. And the problem is they got done in by the White Scars outmaneuvering them and just basically sticking to the sides, flanking them, and just picking them off. Eventually, on all the worlds, the only man who was left was the Lord, and Jagatai left him alive. And now here's the thing, and I thought this was interesting, is they give two quotes. You chose this doom, you forced my hand for the sake of your own petty pride. I would like to kill you, to have your blood join that of all the others you have forced me to kill. But I will not. You will remain here and let others know of the price of pride, that we shall not have to sully our blades again. That's pretty cool. But here's the other quote. You have chosen the doom I could not. You have chosen pride over servitude. I would like to kill you, for you remind me of my own choices, but I will not. You will remain here, so that I will remember the price of pride, and why we sully our blades with the slaughter of small emperors. Not gonna lie, both of them were deep, but that second one, kind of, much deeper. And I can really appreciate that, because if the first one is true, he's saying, I'm going to leave you alive to basically live with the consequences of your actions. If the second one is true, he's saying, I'm going to leave you alive as an example of what I don't want to become. Whew, chills in my spine. Now, unfortunately, we do have one more quick thing to talk about that I find interesting before we get into their overall tactics, and that is their relations with the other legions. Unironically, they got along better with some of the traitor legions. I love this too, and I'll get to that at the very end. His closest relations were considered with Horus Lupercal and Magnus the Red. The ones that he held the most disdain for were Mortarion and Leman Russ. And actually, I want to throw in a name in here. It's not really listed here, but through everything I've read, I'm going to fucking throw it in there too. And that is Papa Smurf or Butte Gilliman himself. And the reason Gilliman and Dorn had a particular dislike for Jagatai Khan and his legion were because they saw them as unstructured, I guess would be the best word I could think of, to a point of being not chaotic in the sense of chaos demons, but chaotic in the sense of they have structure. But now the other interesting two, Mortarion and Leman Russ. Mortarion didn't like him because Mortarion hates psychers. And Jagatai Khan welcomed psychers. Of the three Primarchs who were responsible for the Librarius, the three being Magnus the Red and Sanguinius, and the lesser-known Jagatai Khan,
it was important to him. It really was. So Mortarion and him had a really rocky relationship. And this one I found funny. A lot of people saw the White Scars similar to the Space Wolves as just savages. And the White Scars hated that because they aren't. They aren't savages. They have a sense of honor. They don't kill people for the sake of doing it. The reason they will completely eliminate an enemy is by showing them respect by fighting at their fullest, the same as that enemy did. And I find that really, really cool. And one of my favorite lines I'm going to take from the Wikipedia page. They never demanded respect from anyone, and if the other legions knew nothing of them, then that was their loss, because the White Scars knew about them. The 5th Legion was faster, they moved faster, and they killed faster. Secretly, the White Scars resented the outsiders' disregard greatly, and yet they refused to change their ways or Legion culture. Holy shit, that's cool. They essentially did not care what people thought of them. They didn't like that other legions had disdain for them, but they honestly didn't care. They weren't going to change their ways. So I can honestly respect that. I really, really do. And so I've kind of touched on it a bit. But the White Scars' tactics back then and now are actually kind of the same. It's focused on flanking and outmaneuvering. One of their favorite tactics is jet bikes. In fact, I'm surprised they don't have some sort of dreadnought. And they hate dreadnoughts because they don't go fast. But I'm surprised they don't have like a dreadnought on sleds pulled by jet bikes. That's something I could see. In fact, I might try and make that happen. And might make that happen as far as trying to throw a picture together for this. But anyway, so I enjoy the White Scars. I really do. They're honorable warriors who will fight at their fullest for an enemy who does the same. And what's really funny is when the Horus Heresy broke out, the Alpha Legion didn't know if the White Scars were loyal or if they were traitors. And I find that very damning and very interesting at the same time. Because when you look at it, the White Scars were outsiders to the level of traitors didn't know if they were on the same side, loyalists didn't know if they were on the same side. Both sides were like, I don't know if we can trust you. And they still didn't care. I thought that was just the most amazing thing. I thought that was so cool to keep themselves so isolated from it that they had to go and do their own research to find out who was loyal. Now, to talk about the Primarchs for 1 second, one argument I've always heard is that Lionel Johnson wouldn't turn to chaos, is that there was a demon of Tzeentch who found no way to turn him. I'm going to put his loyalty to the test against Jagatai Khan. Jagatai Khan saw it that he had no reason to turn traitor. Lionel Johnson had reasons. If Horus would have stayed loyal, I could see Lionel Johnson being a traitor. I could see him being manipulated by Lorgar and turning traitor. I did a video on that. Now, that's just one example. It's non-canonical. But through the lore, I could see that happen. If that were true, I do not see that happening with Jagatai Khan. I see him loyal 10 times out of 10. And that is the very interesting thing about Jagatai Khan. I never knew that about him or the White Scars. They are one of the legions I knew the least about. So doing this video, I learned a lot about them. And unfortunately, I feel kind of bad because this is only a basics video. I might do in-depth videos down the road. In fact, I'm almost positive I will. But they are, they're just so amazing to me. They are becoming very quickly my favorite loyalist legion. So, with that gushing out of the way, I appreciate everyone watching to this point. If you want to support the channel, please subscribe, leave a like, and if you can and want to, there's always a link to Patreon and there's a link to Patreon and Streamlabs in the description. But the most important thing of all, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!